Hello, fellow AZ Fish and Hunt members. So, I just got back from Desert Breeze. I used my size 6, no, excuse me, actually size 8 spin shot setup. Used a combination of these little Kitech 2-inchers, the hand poured that my friend had made and given me, and these little wigglers, which I ordered off of eBay. I got hits on all of them. However, the largest, heaviest hit that I got was on these. I got a couple of bluegill. They weren't bad. They were pretty decent size. Typically during the wintertime, they're not very bitey. I actually got a pretty decent little bass on that. The bite, it really was not aggressive, I will say that. I did not pull out these this trip, these pink and black ones. I had considered it, but by the time I got the chance to where I could put them on, my day was pretty much over. Sunlight was going very rapidly. And just in the mail now, in the Mootoo line, I have some Owner Super Needle Point Mootoo lightwires. It's a quantity of 57 size 6. These hooks are available in 3 strengths. Super Mootoo Heavy, Mootoo Circle Standard, Tournament Mootoo Circle Standard, and then the Mootoo Light Circle that I have is a light. It says, note, do not set the hook. The fish will lip hook itself. And from what I understand, they really are that good. So I just got home to these in the mail. And they're a very, very circle hook. You will see that they're a really tall curve, and then they come back. These are not unlike the spin shots in some ways. And I'm going to grab one so that I can demonstrate that. Now these are, let me get both examples here. So this is a size 1 on the spin shot. You'll notice it has kind of that high curve and comes back quite extensively compared to the Mootoo. But look at the angles that the Mootoo has compared to what the spin shot has. It's quite a bit different. There's a very large pocket area on a spin shot, and there's a pocket area, but it's a different type of pocket. And they have that offset to them. If you look, see how it has that turn to it. A lot of people will take the ones that are straight and they'll turn it like that. So these are right off the bat in that fashion, that type of way. They come in a nice pack. And I can tell you honestly, excuse me for a second. I'm still not 100%, and I'm pretty tired, but I can tell you that these will not stay in this pack. They will be put in my hook pack. But my intention with these is twofold. This is, to me, a stupendous drop shot hook. Right off the bat, just looking at it, there's such a wide range of thicknesses of a finesse bait of, up to 4.5 inches all the way down to 2, that this hook would be phenomenal for, because there's like 1/2 inch almost of space on a size 6 with this curve. Not only that, but when you put it on this line, unlike a more traditional, and I've got a regular hook in here to show. I've got a Gamakatsu that still has that kind of curve to it. But the inherent problem that I have with a regular circle hook or sickle hook is that round kind of makes a finesse bait either go up or down, and you really got to pin it the right way if you're nose hooking it, or it's either kind of high riding or low riding. Okay, that is way the hell straighter. I mean, it's still got a curve to it, but look at all this surface area that you can have that bait sitting inside of. And if you want to pin it high side, and you push it up into this barrier, it's going to be right at the hook. So what happens if they swallowed at that point and you have it high centered? What if you get the type of finesse worm that floats so that it's pointing up and you have it toward that high point? Any type of fish in any range of size that comes and grabs that, it's going to be right at the top of the hook. You're not going to miss a fish at that point. There's nothing but positivities to me with this hook. That being said, it's really odd looking to me, but I'm just looking at how the application could work. The other thing I really like about this hook is that the shank is very comparatively short compared to other ones. Wow, man, I'm tired. It's really early for me to be this tired. I'm getting old. Anyway, on a bait type hook, I like to use a snell knot. It's like pretty much my all-time favorite. There's also the kind where you don't actually use the eyelet of the hook except for being a stopper for the knot. And instead of being a snell knot where you come through and loop over, it's actually one where you go along the shank of the hook on the outside barrier and do a double loop, and then fold the loop in on itself, or the tag part of it in on itself, and then pull it through and cinch it down. The Japanese have these types of hooks where it's just a flattened bar that it flares out instead of an eyelet, and that's kind of knot that they use. So I could see myself doing that on these hooks because the eyelet would be that barrier, kind of like that flat spot. So I really see a lot of possibilities with this hook. A big opportunity that I see with this hook is if you're drop shotting minnows, because of the way that this thing is. So if you got it right side up and you got a minnow on there, it's not going to come off. It's going to get eaten. Where, the difference between that and a spin shot, and like I've said in previous videos, I love spin shots. I will be a proponent of them until the day I die. It's a really thin wire, but it's such a long, shallow, sharp barb that a minnow can have a tendency to come off of it if you don't stick it right through the head. Okay. That has the roll barb, if you look, like some of those ocean circle hooks have, where they come way back so that you can put the mullet or whatever you're using on it in a size 6. So I really truly see nothing but positivities with these. This will be the type of hook that I take my drop shot rod specifically. I was using my ultralight for super ultralight finesse drop shot. And it'll get used. These are definitely a light wire. They're not quite as light as some of the ones I've used, but they don't have a lot of flex. So I see these being strong enough to get most of what I would go for, even if it was like, walleye and smallmouth and horseshoe. I could still see these handling that. So I really wouldn't worry. So I'm really anticipating that. And real quick, since I'm here, I have another, I think I got like 200 in that one, a certain type of size 1 hooks from Japan. And this is why I want to compare. So, the Mootoo lightwire has that kind of hook back, okay, like that, and that's a size 6. This is why I like these hooks as cheap as they are. They are a thick wire, but the hook back. See how 90-degree almost that is? And it has just a really roundness. But because I snell these, the thing that sold me on these hooks when I saw them on eBay is that back canter to the eyelet. Because when you put right through and you do a snell on one of these, especially with catfish, and I do this small hook with catfish with smaller baby gills, by the way, because they really get it in their mouth deep, and then all of a sudden it's in the corner of their mouth and they're not getting off. Well, what happens with the snell is it's running right alongside, and when a fish pulls on it, it's turning straight. But when you pull back, it's pulling on the angle of this, and it's moving it to where it's locking in the jaw. So once these have pressure exerted on them inside the mouth of a fish, they literally keep themselves pinned inside where they're set because of the snell not having pressure against that reverse eyelid. That eyelid is severe. That's at least a 60-degree angle backwards. So, I mean, you know, if I can do this properly, I got a shitload. And I tell you something, I am not afraid to buy stuff from Japan and China. I'm sorry, I'm not afraid of it. I mean, I've got some damn good deals, and I've got a good stockpile of shit in my boxes that will serve me for a while. So I really am not disappointed in that. I actually have to put these hooks in there. So yeah, you know, the other thing is the cost. Some of these, when you get these when you get these size hooks in the different sizes you're looking at, they often sell them in lots. Owner will sell in bulk to certain distributors, and then people that sell on eBay, Amazon, will get a hold of them, and you know, they'll buy like 20 packs of 57 or 37 or whatever the amount might be that owner ran at that point in time. And this person happened to have 57 packs. It was $15.95 free shipping, and it came in 4 days. I mean, that's not bad. So I'm really looking forward to using these. I think I may actually, for once, keep these particular ones in the pack and keep them in my bag, because I don't want to just lose these, actually. And the other cool thing about the pack that I like is the fact that it's got that little hook thing on the back. So when you get it to the back strap, I mean, you got to finagle it because it's come out a certain way. And I have no dexterity. I don't feel my fingers. I have nerve damage. So, yeah, imagine that with fishing ultralight. It's a challenge. Anyway, there it goes. So it locks in place so your hooks don't fall out. You know, they'll wiggle around, but they won't fall. To me, I've gone and gotten the Gamakatsu size ones for like a 10-pack for like $10 at Bass Pro. I paid $15.95 and I have 57 of these size 6. I just don't see the purpose of going into a retail store all that often. Point of fact, let me show you some here. Now, these are just the remains. I had, when I bought this particular set of Mustads, there were, let's see, I had 3 packs of 2-aughts. I had 4 packs of 3-aughts. I had 6 packs of 1-aught, 4 packs of number 1s, and a pack of 7-aught on these wide gap croaker hooks, the red ones. And then he even gave me spares of the I think these are 5-aught. But then he gave me at no charge, he gave me 6 of these 7-aught Demon Perfect Circles. Now, the size 1s that I got in this lot were the same Demon Circles, and then I had, like, you know, quite the few of the red white croaker ones as well. I find that the white croaker hooks in the 1-aught and 2-aughts that I had actually worked really good for going through the back meat under the spine on a bluegill. I used anywhere from 3-inch to 5-inch gills for flathead and channel cat, and they go through the meat and they hold good. They got kind of that kind of. Well, here, let me bring one out. Size 2-aught. I really like Mustad a lot. I've had really good performance with them with light bait. I kind of like their hook designs. They're not too intrusive. But you'll see they're a bait holder, but yet they're almost like a weedless hook for bass, but it's almost like their growth is stunted, if you can imagine what I'm saying. So you see like how the hook, it pretty much runs straight in line with the eyelet. But the eyelet doesn't have any shank, it's straight eyelet. I also will either drop shot rig for light bait with these or snell. And these turn really good when they're snelled. But you see how that gap is? When you got a bluegill on there, there's plenty of space in that gap for you to go through the meat and still have them sit good. And they'll still swim with this, by the way. I kind of like the 1-aught a little bit better. It's just big enough to get through the meat, but it's small enough to where they really don't notice it's there. And yet, because it's red, they notice that there's red, which to a fish is a sign of distress and something in trouble. So, I know, a bit long-winded. I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way and show and talk about what happened at Desert Breeze today. And I actually had people had walked up to me, a couple of people that were fishing for catfish, excuse me, had walked up to me and inquired what I was doing with such a light rod. I happened to have my Southwest Custom Rods ultralight, and I'd had an incident a few months ago where the tip popped. It took about 3 inches off. It was a 7-foot 2-inch, and there was about 3 inches that got taken off. So it's still got plenty to work with. It's still got a whole hell of a lot of that parabolic bend to it and a lot of backbone. So it works really, really good if I'm using, like a number 1 down to a number 8 spin shot on ultra light drop shot. It still works perfectly fine for that. It works fine for all my J heads. It works pretty good for anything super ultra light for me. So I used it, and they're just wondering why. I had 4-pound fluorocarbon on it. It's plenty strong for what I do with that ultralight stuff. Still supple enough for it to sit good in the water. More than sensitive enough for me to feel the light strikes. Now, like I said, I don't feel anything in my hands. I'm starting to get a little tiny bit back. But they haven't been able to find the pinched nerve that's somewhere in my spine. They kind of know somewhat where it is, but because I have arthritis and I'm inflamed a lot, they don't see it to be able to mechanically see what they can do about it. So, silly cat. So what I do is I feel the tension in my forearm. So I have kind of a straight along this bone type of hold on my rod where I'm canted forward, because it actually, believe it or not, it actually puts the bone alignment perfectly along this bone. In fact, if you've ever seen a lot of true martial artists that are very well practiced, they will focal point a punch with their fist canted because it's got that full strength of the bone. When you're like this, you have a propensity for it to bend. Well, it's the same way when I grab my rod. I have a real long 2 section where the front is about 5 inches and the back's about 8 to 10 inches. Like, I haven't really measured it, but it's nice and long, and my seat for the reel is actually a down lock. It goes backwards instead of up like a normal one. I did it that way on purpose because I wanted to have a little bit of cork ahead of my handle so I could fan my grip out for really super light hold type work, and at the same time I could get a really good grip if I needed to and choke up on it and still be able to reel and have kind of that counter leverage involved. So I can still feel light bites fairly easily. I just feel in my forearm. And I can sit there all day like that because I'm supported on the back of my arm where that cork grip is sitting, and I'm sitting there holding it, and it doesn't put any wear and tear on me. It doesn't hurt anything on me to do it that way. And in fact, that's pretty much what I do when I'm ultralight drop shotting. I will very small increments move it, and I'll just get a little bit of that pop going to where the bait will move, then it'll instigate strikes. So I got a few, but there weren't really anything to write home about. So in that case, I usually don't take picks. I take picks more when they're fairly noteworthy fish. But yeah, I think I'm gonna probably be putting one of these Mootoos fairly soon on my drop shot rod. I want to test them out, and also to do my live bait like my mealworms. I've noticed a trick with a demon circle type of live bait hook for minnows that people will take anywhere from a size 6 to a size 1, and they'll take super worms, which I have, and they'll take them through the tail and they'll curl them around the hook, and they'll let them sit there like that off the hook, so they look like there's no hook there, but it's all hook in reality. And typically what I do is I'll get them through the butt end, and I'll turn them around and I'll pull them once more through. Well, that eliminates having to do that. Superworms are something that a lot of panfish will beat the hell out of, and catfish, if they see the opportunity, will take small baits, by the way. Little quarter-inch pieces of hot dog, you don't have to take an inch piece of hot dog to get a channel cat. You can have a little tiny bit of that nasty-ass meat, and they'll eat the shit out of it. So, I'll get more updates on more things that I do as time goes on. I just wanted to give a brief synopsis of what that was and why, and I'm kind of psyched to use those hooks, actually. I really am excited to use them because Lord knows I've lost quite a few minnows on my spin shots. As much as I love them, they let them come right off the head, and I've had to poke them right through the freaking melon to keep them on, and that, of course, kills them. So I'd rather not kill them.